Okay. Hey guys, welcome back. It's been a minute since I last posted on the channel. Today we're gonna be talking about that's right, you fucking guessed it, Smite. Dun, 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 See. Yes, I did shave. It's coming back though, quick as hell. Thank God. I'm not a fan of my baby face. I feel like I look too much like a person. Yeah, but Smite. Quick ass video should only be about like trying to make like 4 or 5 minutes for you guys. I don't know how much Smite you guys play or if you're heavy into the game and shit like that. But it was a quick little update video for you guys. So, the coming weeks of Smite, they are going to be releasing King Gilgamesh and Tiamat. Tiamat? Or Tiamat? Yeah, just going back to that area of Mesopotamia, I think, which is around like the 10 BC before Christ. I don't know if it's after Christ's death or if it's around the same time as Christ. But what we're gonna be talking about today is not just Smite specifically, but the character, the one character that they are missing out on. And come on. But the one character, the one god that they're missing out on is the one God himself, quotation marks around the one God himself, quotation marks. You know, everyone's free to think the way that they want to. But Jesus Christ, Yahweh, the other names that they have for my main man. Yes, they need to add this man. He's a god. He has stories about him. You know his fucking powers can turn shit into whatever he wants. He has the power of talk no jutsu. If you guys watch fucking Naruto, you know what that means. Yeah. Man, I'm you know, all bullshit and jokes aside, literally you could have this man be a mage, or me and my friends were discussing this. We've even discussed this a few other times in the back, a while back, just fucking around. It's like, oh yeah, Jesus be dope as hell to have in Smite. No, you know, like, you know, cool, crazy, whatever. But yeah, so there's like 2 ways you could go of making his character. One way that my friend Benji so eagerly put it, you can make him into a warrior and have him carry the cross on his back as his heavy weapon. And that motherfucker just swings that bitch on the battlefield, which I technically don't have a problem with at all, because that man carried the fucking cross. Like, if you want to go like how many miles from Jerusalem to where, that man should be able to swing that bitch in his prime as a fucking god for shits and giggles. And when he's walking, he could be like limping and shit with the cross and whatnot. Ooh, not this video is not, I'm not making fun of Jesus at all. This is just me wanting this man to be put in a video game where the video game is centered around gods and deities and well-known gods and deities. And if Jesus Christ is not one of the most well-known gods out there, why is he missing from your game? There's too much, you know, the people behind Smite could be pussies. They could be pussies and just like, oh, you don't want to put Jesus Christ in the game. How, you know, he's Jesus. People love Jesus. People love a lot of the other guys that they have in there. And you still put them in there. I'm just saying. But yeah. Heavy weapon, his cross. I guess some of his abilities. One ability for like him being a warrior would be like his passive should be like blessings in disguise. So like say like your teammates are doing something, and because, you know, Jesus works and, you know, like he comes when he's needed, you know, that's the whole moniker, is just like, you know, he's there when he's needed, he's never there late, he's there on time, woo woo. So the blessing in disguise passive ability is there to implement certain things like that. So, you know, if Jesus is playing on your team, your whole team automatically gets a few buffs depending on what they do. So if your team gets a kill, Jesus, say he gives them like 50 something health or some shit, maybe like refills their mana bar or something. Like, you could go crazy with, like, you know, his passive of like blessings in disguise. Like, you could like do what they have for Chronos, where he has the time stop, and you each notch on the time stop gives him a different thing to do. It gives him a different power up. So you could definitely do that with something more akin to that with Jesus, except it's more go out there and do it, instead of like, just stopping, clicking the ability and stopping it. Like your team actually has to be proactive. How, Jesus wants you to be proactive in the world and be Christ-like. Just in case you guys are wondering, I did used to grow up in the church, so I got a few laced jokes here and there for the video. But yeah, that's just passive. First ability should be throwing the cross, just throwing that bitch, just fire, raise that to damage. Second ability should be come to the cross, and that ability is a healing ability, just straight healing. Buffs him up. He heals himself and his teammates. He sets his cross down, and your teammates are supposed to come to the cross to get some type of healing, a little bit of healing, and an attack buff. So everyone gets this huge-ass attack buff, say like 25% attack buff, and when you're in that area, you also take like 10%, minus 10% damage. I'm just spitballing fucking numbers out here. I'm not too well versed in the area of Smite to give it my full, like, but I've seen health values. I know a little bit, and I think what I'm saying, even though it sounds like I'm spitting semen out of my ass, I'm really spitting shit out of my mouth. But yeah, that second ability, come to the cross, that sounds pretty dope. The third ability should be, I don't know, Crown of Thorns, where he puts on the Crown of Thorns. And I guess it does something to like boost mana regen. So you can either choose to wear the crown or not wear the crown. So when you have the crown equipped, you have mana regen for like, let's just say 30 seconds. You get a bunch of mana regen for 30 seconds. But the downside of that, because it is a crown of thorns, you get that mana regen, but you also get a little bit of tick damage done to your health. And I feel like that should play a little bit of a part into it, because when he was put, when he was centered with the crown and shit, obviously that shit fucking hurt. You're not gonna put on a fucking crown and it's not gonna hurt. Come on, actually, yeah, you're not gonna put on a crown and it's not gonna hurt, because heavy is he who bears the crown. I think that's how that saying goes. But yeah, it's gonna be a crown of thorns, so this shit's gonna fucking hurt. So it should take damage on him as well as give him some sort of little bit of regen. And that's only the mana regen is only so that way he's able to use a lot of his abilities, because you're going to be wanting to do the come to the cross all the goddamn time, so that way you're able to stand there and take damage and boost your team's damage and also boost a little bit of their healing. Also, you're going to want to throw the fucking cross all the goddamn time so you can do most of your damage. And your fucking ulti for Jesus, once again, this is still warrior shit, even though it sounds like it could be mage. I want to get into the mage probably in the same video, maybe in the second video. Probably might do it in the vicinity video because it is getting a little bit longer. But yeah, his ulti ability. I'm literally coming up with these off the jump. His ulti should be I don't want to say the Great Flood, because you already have enough characters that utilize water in Smite. So what I'm thinking is he calls on to let's call this ability Break Bread. The ultimate ability is called Break Bread. Why is it called Breaking Bread, you ask? I'll tell you. So already what I've been thinking of for Jesus sounds like he's a support warrior, where he's out there in the front lines, a little bit in the back, but he's mostly there to like help buff you while you're in the middle of the fight, and also make sure he's throwing them fucking hands as well too. So he has some support abilities to boost the main team, but mostly it's just on him, so that way he can just do as much damage as he can. Woo woo. But the Breaking Bread ultimate ability, I have to say it's a map-wide ulti. Has to be a map-wide ulti. no matter where your team is, this might sound a little fucking crazy, but when Jesus was breaking the bread and it was giving the fish out to the crowd of 100,000 men, they said 100,000 men, I believe, but they weren't counting women and children, so there's plenty more. But when he was doing that, he was able to break and multiply and feed everyone in the crowd that day. See where I'm going with this? We all know that Jesus is, he died on the cross, and then got resurrected. I want to put his resurrection thing for his mage ability, because I think it'll be dope as fuck. But if he's a warrior and is breaking bread, I feel like he should disperse his mana, because that's why you want to wear the crown of thorns all the goddamn time, because the mana that you're going to be generating for yourself is also going to be generating mana for your teammates as well. And then if they're standing, if they're coming to the cross and he's wearing the crown of thorns, he has the ability active. It's going to boost the, they're also getting health from standing on that, but they're also getting their mana regen from that as well too, plus damage buffs. And, so now that I'm thinking about it, high-key, he sounds like a fucking mage. I don't know if he'd be able to be a warrior, but he sounds like he'd be either a guardian or maybe warrior. But I feel like his mage shit could be a little bit different. But he's starting to sound like more of a mage, more of a support type warrior, more of a guardian, trying to hold down the fort and keep everyone together. But yeah, you disperse a percentage of your health and a percentage of you disperse a percentage of your health and all of your mana to your teammates. Just like that. So that way they're able to utilize their abilities, and you also provide a little bit of a cooldown for their abilities. So he is a support heavy warrior. That's what he is. And if it kind of works, because he's technically it plays into what he is as like the savior and wanting to support you and be there for you, but he's also, he calls oh man, I can't believe I'm lacking on a lot of this shit. But like let the Bible be your sword and shield and whatnot like that. Let the Bible be your shield and the verses be your sword, so you're cut through with the word of God and the with the verses, and the Bible is there, it's supposed to protect you and shield you from a lot of the stuff, and it's supposed to help guide you and whatnot. Ooh. But I feel like with just a rough outline of just those, just coming off of the dome, that's already a pretty decent, solid character. Does he sound a little bit busted? Yeah, but there's a fuck ton of other characters in that game that I feel like are a little bit busted. And once they tweak them down however they want to, because that's the thing, if he were to be a mage, let's just say we go into the mage concept now. So we keep the Crown of Thorns idea, because I think that idea is fucking brilliant. He's able to take that on and off whenever he wants to. So say he wants to have his mana regenerate for 30 seconds. I mean, of course you're gonna have to spend mana to get it, but the more the toll of that one, the price of that one is your health. So it's like, you get mana, but you're shrinking your health. Yeah. His first two abilities though, and that new passive for him being a mage, the passive for him being a mage, I want to say this one would be breaking bread. So now it's let's say however many let's say for every 10 points of mana you regen, you give a certain percentage of health to your enemy team within the vicinity. Breaking bread, because he's getting and he's giving. Breaking bread, boom. That's his passive. Let's say his first ability, I don't know why I just instantly, first ability I thought of is, I'm so basic, turning water into wine. What I'm trying to think of is a way for him to use that ability, turning water into wine. The only way I see him doing this, the only way I see that being like a hefty ability, is if he's taking like damage. It's like a reflective thing. So he's taking the damage, he's taking the water, so to speak, and turning it into wine. Wine is sweet, good for you. Back in the day, they weren't the water was contaminated, so the wine and the alcohol was a lot more pure than the water. Damn, don't quote me on that, but you can go back and read it yourself. They were drinking fuck ton of wine instead of natural water, unless you had a natural well like outside of your like city or shit, or in the city where you could get your water. But most of the time it was wine because that was a lot cleaner. Yes, turning that damage into whatever the fuck you can think of, dude. I'm thinking of turning it back into like just a reflective damage, or just like turning it in just turning that damage into like a buff or something. Maybe like making your minions buffed. Yeah, because he's all about, you know, helping the masses. Fucking A. So you're turning that water, which also kind of goes into breaking bread. So you're turning that water, you know, the damage, into wine for your minions to drink and shit. They're over there partying. Let's say that gives them an extra, I want to say attack buff, but I want to say extra health. I want to say like a little bit of, it gives them a percentage of extra health and a percentage of an attack buff. So it makes them a little bit stronger, makes them a little bit tankier. That's what that ability do. So turning water into wine, boop, boop, boom. The second ability, I want to say, because he doesn't really have any crazy things. Jesus wasn't that much of a crazy man. I guess that really shows I need to read my Bible. But I want to say, second ability should be something to do, because I want to say he can call on the powers of his father, because technically Jesus is God and God is Jesus. So calls on the pyre. I want to say the pyre of flames that the slaves had to use with Moses when they were getting led out of the desert. He gave them, I think it was a tornado storm or clouds during the day to cover them while they were traveling. And no, it was a pillar of fire during the day to cover them while they were traveling, so that way their enemies wouldn't follow. And then it was like a cloud or a pillar of smoke during the night, so that way they were protected as well too. I could be getting that wrong, but that can play into either you know, the fire. You can shoot out, we can have the fire pillar following the minions. Once again, he's going to be really like centered around like getting minions to where they need to go, because he, you know, I feel like with him, because he's such a well-known, one of the most well-known gods, that he should be utilizing the minions to their fullest, because a lot of him is worshiping and praying to Jesus and woo. Even though a lot of that for a lot of the other gods is worshiping and praying to him, I feel like with Christianity and with how Jesus is as a concept, as an idea, it would work best if he was more centered around like minions and stats like that, and support with being a mage, if that's the route he were to go with being a mage. Just like flat out like supporting, boosting the damage for the minions, so that way you have you know, a little bit of support out there while you're doing your main damage as well too. Third ability, still going to be Crown of Thorns, just because it sounds too fucking good. It sounds basic, but I think because it sounds so basic, that's why it sounds so good, and it just fits him so well. But his ultimate ability has to be Peace Be Still. And I say that for the mage one instead of the warrior one, because for the mage one, it would be so fucking dope if he was just like, you know, for his ultimate ability, he has to cast out all of his mana, but in doing so, once again, super fucking broken, sounds super fucking OP, but if he's able to do it, I see no reason why. Peace Be Still is basically, if you have, let's say, a bunch of enemy gods coming at you with some of their ultis and a lot of cooldowns, you activate his ulti, cancels everything. And why the fuck not? Man was able to calm a fucking hurricane. Tell me why he shouldn't be able to calm the fucking enemy gods out of their ultis, or with some of their abilities. Now, to cancel the abilities, I do feel like is a little bit broken. If they're just like throwing the, like, say, you know, sometimes the whole enemy team doesn't pull up to the fight with an ulti. It's kind of bullshit, actually, in Smite. Sometimes the enemy team is always pulling up to the party with an ulti. But yeah, I feel like him canceling out people out of their ultis during his ultimate ability, Peace Be Still, beautiful, but the cost of it is high. The price of it is high. That's a lot, and I feel like that's how it should be. Like a lot of his cost should be high because the price of him laying down his life and shit, sacrificing for everyone and their sins. Woo woo. Now I'm thinking about it, I think he should do more for his passive ability. Should be more centered around like sins and virtues for the warrior. Yeah. Well, see, now I'm thinking of ideas. Now, now I really want to get into these concepts because I've been thinking of ever since I saw that trailer for the new Smite thing. I was just like, yo, they're gonna be doing some dope ass shit. And if they're bringing in Gilgamesh, they could probably bring in like I thought Gilgamesh was the king of kings. I didn't know he was a fucking god. I thought he was just a story that you told. He's the king of kings and shit. Great hero. Woo woo. I didn't know he was considered as god. Same thing with fucking Arthur. They have Arthur in here. So I'm just thinking, okay, they're not calling on gods. They're calling on fables as well. And if they're calling on fables, which I'm totally okay with, because they have Mulan in here as well too. So I'm not now. It's a 20-minute video and I just realized that it's not just gods, it's gods and fables as well. Well, gods and heroes, gods and great heroes that have ascended to the rank of gods through being boss as heroes, I guess. It's neither here nor there. Well, that was the video. A little bit scattershot. I said 5 and 4 minutes. This bitch is 21. Have a nice night, guys. Bye.